Hello everyone and welcome back to Mindset Win. My name is Lisa Ramuschkat and I'm sitting here today with York-Peter Klöppel, who is Head of Mental Performance at Red Bull's APC. And York, today we're going to speak about cricket a little bit, and we just spoke about how you grew up in England, so you're definitely closer than myself, probably growing up in Germany, to the whole sport, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge sport in England and also some other countries in the world like Australia, South Africa, and most popular in India. It's pretty much the most popular sport in India, with the IPL reaching, millions and millions of views. So yeah, it's a really fascinating sport that unfortunately hasn't quite made it to Germany yet.
I know, yeah. Your knowledge will definitely come in handy today, because last Tuesday I had the chance to sit down and chat with Indian cricket sensation Smriti Mandhana.
The only basic rule of me sleeping is 8 hours a day. I don't have any particular timing or anything. Say if we have a night match and we come back by 12 or 1 and you freshen up and sleep at 2, so 2 to 10, I'll end up sleeping till 10. If I end up sleeping at 9 p.m., I'll get up around 8 hours. So one thing is constant is 8 hours of sleep.
And your knowledge could actually be of big help right away, because something that I didn't know is how, let's say, flexible a cricket schedule is. Games can start early in the morning or super late at night, which actually will have a big impact on athletes and their preparations, right?
Yeah, that's right. It depends on the format of the cricket match as well. There's different formats for competition. Some games go over 3 days, and then it's also a challenge to know when it's actually your turn for bowling or batting. So it's, you have to just be really flexible and kind of keep yourself ready for a long time. But like she mentioned there, the routines can then help you to at least still find a little bit of structure in the chaos.
Yeah, and how do you do that? Because, it affects sleep, it affects food, what you eat, when to eat and how much, and even how do you get into laser focus right when it's needed?
Yeah, a routine is not so rigid, let's say. It definitely leaves room for flexibility to just use the routine more as a kind of like a guidance to remind yourself of the things that are most important for you to do before starting the task, whatever the task is, whether it's in sport or whether it's in life as well. Versus maybe, to mention, a ritual, which is really structured and leaves no room for flexibility, because a ritual is almost, it's often related to religion or superstition as well, where you really truly believe that only if I do it in exactly this way again, then it's going to be successful for me. If I don't have time to do the whole ritual or something, it's not going to work. But a routine isn't like that at all. A routine is more just, like I said, like a guideline, a bit of almost like a checklist to remind yourself of what are the things that you need to do before you can start a task.
So I'm not sure if I fully grasp what a routine is then, because I eat sometime and sleep a couple of hours, or how do you define that?
So if it's a routine for sports, if we take cricket now, and she has a specific routine that she wants to go through before a game, then maybe on a macro level, that routine might include what she eats for breakfast, whether she does or does not take a shower in the morning, what other activities she wants to engage in. And these are things that she wants to try to do if the schedule allows it. And then maybe sometimes she has to shorten it a little bit. She has to just adapt the routine quickly in that moment, but still have this guideline of doing most of the things right, and not suddenly then doing something completely different that she doesn't like to do. And then on a micro scale, if she's about to go in to bowl, then she might have like a really short routine using visualization, self-talk, maybe some behavioral routines as well, to just get her ready in that last moment. So then it doesn't really matter if it's at 10 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the evening. It doesn't matter what's happened before, but just sticking to the last kind of, the last bit of the routine to then get into the right mindset.
And that's not a ritual then, the visualization or the meditation.
No, because that's just a guidance for the things that I like to do to get myself into the right mood.
But if they don't happen,
if I don't have
chaos.
time to do the full routine, then with a routine, it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. It might just mean that I don't feel as comfortable in the situation. With a ritual, it might be something like I always put on my right shoe before the left shoe. I always tap
the
my
grass
touch the grass, tap my shoulder 3 times, something like that, and with that I'm just attaching success to the ritual. So if I don't have time to do the ritual, then I don't believe in success anymore.
And so, is it good to have routines and bad to have rituals?
Some people like rituals. Some people believe in that. Some athletes are also, very religious or somewhat superstitious. I would be the last person to tell them not to do that. So it's really important to have good routines because they help you to remind yourself of the things that will help you to perform better.
Interesting.
A ritual, on the other hand, it's something more on a spiritual level that to some people works, but a ritual is not something that I would say to athletes, you need to have a ritual. But at the same time, if someone has a ritual, I'm not going to say to them, get rid of the ritual because it's bad. It's very individual, it's up to everyone. But a routine is definitely something I would advise everyone to develop.
Interesting. I'm starting to wonder if I have routines or not, because obviously my schedule is really crazy as well. Sometimes
really?
I have a morning show at 6 a.m. and sometimes I have the late shift and start at 7 p.m. or, we have an interview in the middle of the day. And so I generally would say about myself that I don't have routines.
Okay.
Because it's obviously really hard to have any when there's no routine at all in what you do.
Sure.
But the way you're describing them now, I'm wondering, if on a smaller micro level, maybe I do.
But are there things that you try to do before every recording?
Yeah, I might have to sit down and reconsider.
Is there like a little vocal warm-up exercise you do, or drinking, or
No.
Do you try to make a joke or joke with people just to relax? Or maybe there are things that you kind of do every time, but at the moment it's a little bit subconscious.
I'm
and
not
you're
aware
of it,
of
but,
anything. Yeah.
And then maybe it's time to kind of consider what things you like to do before a show or a podcast recording or whatever it is, and really just identify some of those factors and think about, is it realistic for me to try to do that before anything, whether it's at 6 a.m. or 10 p.m.
Because if I brought these things to my own awareness, it would help me to do what? What would it do to my body, or why are routines so helpful?
Well, most of all, it would just increase your focus. So maybe beforehand you are, thinking about lots of other things. You're distracted by something. Your focus is on some external factors, somewhere completely different. But then these routines, the main purpose of them is to just kind of bring the focus more internally, more narrow, really just focusing on yourself, on the situation right now, and almost kind of blend out some of the other things you were maybe thinking about beforehand. So that's kind of like a routine, in my opinion, should allow you to always start a task or performance on the same level, whether we're talking about activation levels, arousal levels in the body, like actually physical state, but also then more importantly, like the mental states, the focus, where my mind is at right now. The routine should really help you to always bring it to the same point that is for you the optimal point.
This is so interesting. I'm just realizing as we're having this conversation that for me, the word routine always meant every day is the same. I wake up and do the same thing, and then I, have my breakfast or whatever, and then my day is the same as the next day. And that's the definition of a routine. But routine can mean something so much smaller.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, more like...
And I really have to reframe the word. Interesting.
Well, or just expand your definition of the word.
Yes.
What you described before is maybe more like a fixed routine, a fixed schedule for the week. Whereas this other thing is more like we call it a pre-performance routine.
I'll definitely sit down and have a chat with myself and see what my pre-show routines are.
Cool.
Super interesting. Thank you so much for these insights. And guys, if you need to double check what your routines are, please let us know. We would love to hear from you. You can either leave a comment or review on whatever platform you're listening, or reach out over our email address, mindsetwin@redbull.com. Please make sure to hit follow or subscribe because we want to grow our community, of course. And we would love for you to check out our Mindset Win YouTube channel as well. Thank you so much for being here with us today, and see you back on Thursday with our next episode.